Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. So it is cold, wet, and rainy. There are thunderstorms in Nashville today. So it's cold, wet, and rainy. It rains in buckets and then drizzle and then buckets again. That's what's going on in Nashville. Drop in the chat what's going on in your neck of the woods, as Al Roker would say. So anyway, today is the 12th day of April. This is the 72nd episode of season 3 of the Be Your Own Hero show. HERO is an acronym. It means helping everyone reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It's a reciprocal action. I'm your host. I'm sekouwrites. I call myself a professional creative, and I'm also the creator of the HERO Ministry movement. And that's my effort to uplift and inspire people in general, and specifically the unhoused population. So join me here Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern, 8:45 a.m. Central, 7:45 a.m. Mountain, to watch me talk about my journey of becoming my own financial hero. And if this show feeds you, provides you with any insight, lifts you in any way, please like, please comment, and definitely please share. Spread the word. Quick reminder, I'm not a personal trainer, nor am I a financial advisor, so take what I say with a grain of salt and just enjoy this journey of me talking about my journey of becoming my own financial hero. So all that said, shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me this space and this opportunity to grow and to share my growth with you. So I hope it's valuable. Okay, so all that said, let's get into it. Once again, the weather here is a little crazy. I'd love to know what's happening elsewhere because I'm trying to figure out how similar weather systems are now. It's been interesting to me to note that often the weather here in Nashville is the same as it is in New York, which wasn't the case in the past. So anyway, I see a couple people tuning in, so let me know what the weather's doing where you are. And that's a good segue to my run report. So I'm going to play today's run report, just recorded, just uploaded to all the social media platforms, but I'm going to play it here. Today is day 316. I've been running every day, at least a mile a day, for now 316 days in a row. And this is today's run report, which we'll talk about more in just a second. Okay, halfway through the run, you can probably hear the rain. There's a thunderstorm going on in Nashville right now. As you can see, I'm standing underneath this overhang at Tennessee State University. It's like a basketball court. It's the only place thus far on my run where I've been sheltered from the rain. Anyway, I just figured I would do this run report now because I'm trying to keep my phone as dry as possible. So I'm going to put it back in my pocket, get back to this run, and get it done. Let's go. No excuses. This is day 316. Later. Run done. All right, day 316. The run is done. I'm in the car sheltering from the rain, as you can surely hear in the background. It's raining hard. Lightning, thunder, serious thunderstorm. Super dark, as you can tell. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up and get inside and get ready for my show, the Be Your Own Hero show, Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern, 8:45 a.m. Central. You can watch all of the previous episodes on YouTube. The YouTube link is in the bio, so check me out there. We're talking about financial literacy, wealth, abundance, and how to change your financial reality. How to change your financial reality. Anyway, run story. It's wet, super wet. The hardest part of running in a thunderstorm or in the rain in general is starting. That's the hardest part. Like standing inside or on the porch or wherever, looking at the rain, that's the hardest part. Because once you start, it's just various degrees of wet. Like you're going to get wet, right? So it's just various degrees of wet. Like I spent some time avoiding puddles in the beginning because I forgot from previous runs in the rain, you can't avoid the puddles because there's always going to be another puddle. You just got to run through them. Yeah, your feet are going to get wet. Yeah, your socks are going to get wet. Just suck it up and get through it, because in my effort to try to avoid puddles, I almost twisted my ankle. And I was like, nope, just plow through it. Let the clothes dry. It's just water. It's just water. Is it comfortable? No. Is it pleasant? No, but it's just water. It ain't gonna kill me. It ain't gonna kill you either. So that's it. Just push through. Whatever it is, just push through. And if you decide to be like me and run in the rain, because I know at least one person who started doing what I do. If you decide to run in the rain, just remember, don't avoid the puddles. Just like life. Don't avoid the puddles. Just plow through them. Plow through them. Plow through them. Get your psyche used to just plowing through instead of avoiding. Because avoiding will get you in trouble. All right, that's what I got. Be a hero. Be your own hero. Remember that now is better than perfect. And I'll see you on my show in a minute. Later. Okay, halfway through the run. Okay. So I have to smile because I mentioned earlier this week that people keep asking me to write a book, or maybe that's not quite the right phrasing. People keep asking, when are you going to write a book? Even people that don't know I'm a writer. People are like, when are you going to write a book about this experience? And I'm smiling because one person recently said, it writes itself. And so that's an example of it. I was just watching it again. I've mentioned this before, that I record the run reports right after I finish running, and it's just kind of top of mind, and I don't always remember exactly what I said. So when I watch it here, it's like watching it for the first time. Like I'm watching it with you, like, what's he going to say? And that part about the puddles and pushing through and not avoiding the puddles, yeah, that's profound. And it does write itself, because just to piggyback on that idea briefly, the more effort you expend trying to avoid the thing that you don't want, I've already said it, you expend more effort. Like it takes less effort to just plow through it and then let your shoes and socks dry later. But in the moment, it just takes less energy to just go right through the middle. And I got to tell you, that was very uncomfortable several times. There were several puddles that I misjudged, that I thought they would be shallow puddles, and they were not. It's like running through an ocean. But it's easier to just go through instead of trying to find a way around, which takes more time, takes more energy, takes more effort. It's easier to just go through. So that's a good lesson, yet another lesson from the Run Streak. So shout out to the Run Streak for giving me all the lessons that I'm sharing with you. I hope they're beneficial to you. Okay, so that said, let's get into this dice roll challenge. Where's my dice? So just a quick reminder, yesterday's number was 6, right? Yesterday's number was 6. If you're trying to keep up, a couple people have asked, oh, so what was the previous number? Yesterday's number was 6, all right? And I'm gonna start keeping track as best I can of the numbers in case you missed a day, you wanna double up. So here we go. Dice roll challenge for Tip Tuesday is $3. So you're going to transfer $3 from your checkings account to your investment account. And when I say investment account, that can mean a number of different things. You could transfer it directly into your brokerage account. You could set up a new account at your bank. It doesn't really matter. The idea is getting it out of circulation into a place where it can accumulate. So you can also do cash. I know at least one person is doing cash. Yeah, you got to go to the bank. I haven't done it that way, so I don't know what's really involved. But I imagine you got to go to the bank and get a bunch of singles and just have that money around and then move it into an envelope. I'm not sure. Let me not say too much about that because I'm not quite sure how it works physically. But yes, whether you're transferring physical cash or just transferring, dots and digits on your device, the number for today is $3. The number for yesterday was 6. If you're playing catch up, just do 9. All right. Again, brief reminder, the reason that you're doing this is because the number one reason that people don't invest is they say, I don't have enough money to invest. This is proving to you that you do have enough money to invest. It's also an exercising of the law of abundance, because you have to always believe that you can spare $3 to transfer over, that you can spare $6 to transfer over. You can't get tight about it. And confession time, the first round, I got tight a few times. Not only did I not do Saturdays and Sundays, there were a few times when I rolled the dice on the show and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do it today. And then I didn't play catch up. Now I am much more committed this time around because
I've seen how it works. I've seen that I accumulated $600. I've seen that Rev Mel accumulated $1,000 because she did do weekends and she didn't skip any days. And so I'm much more committed. So this is a muscle. Like if you haven't started yet, don't beat yourself up, but start. If you started and quit, don't beat yourself up, but get back on it. It works. Add up this money. Let this money accrue so you can invest it. All right? So that's the dice roll challenge for today. Moving on to Morning Zen. So as you know, I've been rereading the 7-Day Mental Diet. If you've been watching the show, you know that already. And I'm going to recap where we are today, the things that have stood out to me. I think I'm going to end up with more than 7 things. I haven't added it up yet, but I think I might have more than 7 things already. But I'm highlighting the things that stand out to me the most and just adding on. So the very first thing that stood out to me this time around was the idea of choosing cheerful versus fearful. Are you cheerful or are you fearful in this moment, whatever this moment is? It's been very helpful to me over the past couple of weeks when I've been practicing with it, because the fact that you only got 2 choices really limits you. It forces your mind into a corner. Like you can't wiggle much, you know? So if you're not feeling cheerful, get to cheerful. So just a reminder, cheerful versus fearful. Get to cheerful. Second thing is, well, it's a remix of something that was in the book. I am asking you to fill in the blank. Ideally, write it out longhand. But if you can't write it out longhand, just say it in your mind. Fill in the blank. Money is what? Money is what? If you feeling frisky, put it in the chat. Money is what? Like the idea is to see what your subconscious has to say about how you feel about money. So money is fill in the blank. Next thing, thoughts are magnetic. So one negative thought brings a host of other negative thoughts. But by the same token, one positive thought brings a host of positive thoughts. It's much easier to slip into negative thinking than it is to slip into positive thinking. You got to reach for positive thinking. Everybody's default mode is to think negative thoughts, to notice what's missing. That's the way the mind works, literally. And that's going to take me off into a tangent about neuroscience. I don't think we're going to do that right now. But generally speaking, the way the mind works is we notice the absence of things. If there's 100 things on a board and one of them is a different color, let's say, we'll notice the thing that's a different color. We'll be like, why is that a different color? Like, you know what I mean? Like the thing that's off is the thing that we notice the most. So in a fun way, we notice the donut hole before we notice the donut. That's the way the mind works, neurologically speaking. Moving on. You can stop your stressful thoughts by visualizing. The book suggests holding up a stop sign in your mind, visualizing a literal stop sign to prevent yourself from negative thinking. I've been using this thing from childhood where I say catch a tiger by the tail, which is to say that it's unlikely that you're going to stop the negative thought before it happens, but you can notice that the negative thought is happening and then catch that tiger by the tail and then redirect it. Just get good at noticing and redirecting. Noticing and redirecting. Next thing, embrace change. We talked about this yesterday. Life is change and change is life. So embrace change. Embrace change. Don't let change rattle you because change is inevitable. And then today, I read the 8 great lifesaver questions. Yes, that's literally what it's called in the book. The 8 great lifesaver questions. So I'm just going to read the questions. Number 1, am I smiling right now? Number 2, am I breathing deeply right now? Number 3, how can I expect less? Number 4, how can I give more? Number 5, how can I be laser focused? Number 6, how can I simplify this? Number 7, how can I make a small but substantial start? And number 8, how can I go slowly but resolutely? So we'll talk about those as we go, but you really don't need an explanation for most of them, right? Especially the first one, am I smiling right now? The power of a smile. You can choose a cheerful mindset by smiling, or you can move yourself closer to cheerful by smiling. sometimes you can use the physical action to guide the mental action. So try that. If you ask yourself if you're fearful versus cheerful in this moment, whatever this moment is, and you're not cheerful, you can literally smile to move yourself further, closer to a cheerful mindset. There's a whole science behind this, again, that dips into neuroscience. So we won't get into that now, but it works. That's the bottom line. It works. You can use your body to lead your mind. So smile to get yourself towards cheerful. Okay, so all that said, I want to talk about something that was said during TM this morning. So for those of you that don't know, I've been practicing Transcendental Meditation. I had read about it, and I was inspired to try it by Reverend Melissa. She started it before me and was raving about it, so I tried it too. So I've been doing that. And essentially, you meditate twice a day for 20 minutes a day. So that has dramatically increased my meditation routine, because typically I do about 5 minutes every morning. So now I'm doing 40 minutes a day. So it's a big jump. Anyway, sometimes there are group meditations on Zoom, and things are said or read that are inspirational and inspiring. And this really struck me from today's meditation this morning. Let me find it. I want to get it exactly right. This is a quote that is attributed to many people, including Socrates. Ready for this? Beware the barrenness of a busy life. Beware the barrenness of a busy life. Beware the barrenness of a busy life. That really struck me, stopped me in my tracks. Matter of fact, I was late going for my run because I was thinking about that quote. And then I started Googling it, trying to find a greater explanation for the quote. And apparently, Socrates didn't say anything more about it other than the quote, or anything that I could find this morning. But there are lots of theories about what he meant. So it's very subjective. Everyone's got their opinion about what Socrates meant by this quote. So I was like, all right, well, if you're going to be subjective, well, let me just think about what I think it means for me. And first of all, it's a very arresting visual image, because you think about the barrenness of a desert combined, juxtaposed with a busy life. It's very captivating. And for me, having sat with it during my run, really, it reminds me of the idea of homeostasis. And I've talked about homeostasis before here briefly. It's a concept that I've probably heard of before, but was really drilled down for me in the book, How to Do the Work. And homeostasis, the actual definition of homeostasis is the tendency towards a relatively stable equilibrium. The tendency towards a relatively stable equilibrium, which is basically to say a safe space, right? A comfortable space. The mind keeps seeking homeostasis, a safe, comfortable space. And this was a big aha moment for me, finding out, learning that the primary function of the mind seeks comfort, not growth. It seeks comfort, not growth. So whatever is comfortable to you, whatever has become comfortable to you, that's where your mind wants you to stay. Growth requires significant amounts of effort, because you've got to break past that homeostasis barrier, that force field kind of keeping you in place. And your mind is very, what's the right word? Persistent about keeping you in that safe space. So you've got to work extra hard if you want to break outside of it. And I'm going to use my example from the dice roll challenge again to illustrate this. So, you know, if you've been watching the show, that I accumulated $600 via the dice roll challenge. And instead of investing it in the stock market, which is what I told everyone else to do, I paid off a credit card. And I even justified it here on the show and out there in the world to other people. But I was like, no, let me sit with this. And I came to the conclusion that basically I still have some work to do around debt, bottom line. And so even though I've been talking about wealth and abundance for all these many episodes of this show, 3 seasons now, over 200 episodes, I think. Still, when the rubber hit the road, as they say, I moved that money not into the stock market, but I instead paid off a credit card. And so that's my homeostasis. That's my mind's force field, bringing me back to what's comfortable. What's comfortable is paying off a credit card. And despite me getting more and more comfortable with wealth, with abundance, with using money as a tool, there are still some aspects of my mind that are fighting. And that applies to you too. None of us want to hear that we're not in control. None of us want to hear that. But the subconscious mind makes up 90% of what we do and what we think. It just is. So we're not in control. And we rationalize the things that we do to make it seem like we're in control, just like I did in that example. I paid off the credit card, and then I rationalized why I did it. And I said the rationalization on this show. And so in order to get past the fear of lack of control, you have to become aware that you're not in control. And that's very difficult for most of us. Just the awareness that we're not in control is very difficult for most of us. The acceptance of it, like that's only for a few people are willing to accept that we're not in control. But what will help you, and what has helped me, is to not take what you say for granted. Is for granted the right phrase? Don't take what you say as gospel. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. I had to challenge myself for a whole weekend before I got to, okay, I still have some unresolved issues around debt. You've got to challenge yourself. And I could have just let it go and everyone would have been fine with it. So you've got to challenge yourself. You've got to do that extra bit of work to understand that your mind is trying to pull you back into homeostasis, into a comfortable, safe space, a tendency towards a relatively stable equilibrium. That happens automatically. It's not a conscious process. But the conscious process is chasing your own excuses, exploring your own excuses, exploring your own behaviors. And it takes active effort. All right, I hope this is landing with someone, because it's a tricky thing to get, and I'm just getting it recently, and I hope my example is helpful, because these things happen in a blink of an eye, and we think we're in control, and we're not. And we've got to explore those motivations and dig deeper. And that's how we figure out how to move better and how to break free of our own homeostasis. Okay, so I went off on a tangent, and now I got to get back on script. Let's do our affirmation. We're going to do it twice as usual. We're going to read it for the words the first time, and then we're going to do it as an incantation so we can get it into our bones. For those of you doing extra credit, do it as an incantation both times. So, I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. One more time with feeling, I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every single area of my life. See, when you really feel it, you start adding words. It gets good to you. It becomes bigger than an affirmation. So that's that. And then there's my reminder. If you only spend, you'll stay poor. If you only save, you'll stay middle class. If you want to become wealthy, you must invest. And bringing it all full circle, investing for most of us is a mindset shift. And in order to accomplish that mindset shift, you have to do battle with your beliefs about money that you probably ingested from the world as a child in your formative years. So you got to Go to work fighting those beliefs by watching your behaviors. Like if you're not participating in the dice roll challenge, ask yourself why not. Like that's a good way to start. What's your excuse for why you're not participating in the dice roll challenge? Right? And I've heard several. But what's your excuse? And how can you push past it? Because what you're doing is you're covering for something that's in you that doesn't want to get out of the homeostasis zone. All right. So all that said, where do I want to go from here? I think there's this one thing that I've been wanting to say for a while. And so let me say that. The stock market, from the outside looking in, two things. And one, it looks very scary, right? And also we've been socialized to be afraid of it. Number two, we think of it as a game that's played a specific way that we don't know how, that we don't know the rules for. But that's not true. If you get in it, you'll find that it's a single game that can be played a million different ways. And that's what's confusing about it. Like I'm just realizing that now. I heard that in a podcast and I was like, that's what I've been struggling with. It's a single game that can be played a number of different ways. There is no single way to play it. There's no single way to win. So when you start investing, people always ask you, well, let me rephrase. When you start investing, you ask someone who's already an investor what to do. They always say, well, what's your goal? Well, we don't know. Like if we're just getting started, we don't know. We also don't know that there's multiple ways to play the game. And so knowing that, you can decide to learn the different ways to play the game. Like that's my advice as someone who's getting familiar with the stock market. Start recognizing that there's a million different ways to play this game. There's not one right way, and start exploring the different ways to play it. So one of the ways that we talked about, just for example, is buy and hold investing. I'm saying buy, B-U-Y, and hold, H-O-L-D, investing, buy and hold. So essentially that's buying a stock or shares or fractional shares of a stock in a company that you believe in, that's one of the big companies, and then just holding it. And the play there is net worth. Like at some point over time, that stock is going to be worth more and more and more, right? And so it's like a savings account, but it does better than a savings account over time. It's not going to do well in the short term. Don't worry about the daily fluctuations, weekly, monthly fluctuations. Just worry about how it does over years. Like over years, it will accumulate and grow and get better. So that's one way to play it. And so people often say things to me like, oh, I should have got it this particular stock at this particular time in the past, and then I would have been set for life. But that's literally only one way to play the game. And you can still get in on that stock. Whatever that stock is, you can still get in on it. Like the biggest companies tend to do better. Don't try to find the next company that's going to be a big thing. Invest in the companies that are already a big thing. Okay, so I'll talk more about that soon. And I've got a few things I want to circle back on, but the homeostasis thing really resonated with me today based on today's morning meditation with TM, and I wanted to share that. So I hope that resonated with someone. It's time for prayer time, and then at 10:30, it's time for Sit with Rev Melissa, where I'll be producing that show and maybe popping in to say a few words or two. So I hope wherever you are, the weather is better there than it is here, and I will see you mañana. Keep doing, be a hero, be your own financial hero, and remember that now is better than perfect for investing. Start investing today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Later.